All right, we're going to knock out a pretty easy tie here. This is going to be the Landon-Meyer mini leech. This is a fly that I've always kind of said you get some pretty good bang for your buck because it's really easy to tie and really effective. When we're done, we're going to end up with a little something like that. I have seen it tied with the zinker upside down like that, but that's not the way that I do it. I'm not sure if that's the right way or not, but I'm going to tie it with the zinker pointing up. So we're going to start out with some burnt orange UTC, and on the vise I've got a ahrex FW 541. I'm starting to really like ahrex. Ahrex has kind of become one of my primary hooks. I've been using them for just about everything. I just bought a pack of their dry fly hooks, so I'm going to give those a try next. But ahrex is definitely starting to become my go-to. So, all right, first thing that we want to get tied in here is this peacock and orange uni mylar, and it's got a brown side and a green side. And I've tied both sides on for an olive one of these, and for this one I'm going to go with green. So I'm going to tie this in with the green side facing me, and we're going to get a nice tight even underbody with touching wraps all the way down and then back up to the bead. Nice even underbody. So we're going to get this folded over, and we'll start wrapping this right up the shank with touching wraps. That even underbody will help this fall nice and even. I mean, you know, if you've got some bumps in it, it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, you're gonna see the body, but not really see it. So it's not vital that you get that flat, but I don't know. You want to create a nice fly. I've said many times my belief in confidence flies. If you're tying a fly that you're happy with the result, I think you're going to fish it a little bit more effectively. All right, so I'm going to get that all the way up to the front. Fold that back. And we're good. Okay. I also would like to point out that I'm leaving some space up here behind the bead, and I'm kind of doing that on purpose. I'll explain why in a minute, and after I get a little coat of Solares on here to help secure that a little bit. You can also rib that with wire if you want. Either one will hold that in there. Wire will actually give you a pretty cool look too. Now while that's curing, the reason why I'm leaving a little bit of gap behind there is because the way that you tie the zinker in, you don't have a whole lot of material to secure it. So you want to make sure that that's really in there good, because this type of fly can give you what's called a short strike, meaning that a fish will strike at the tail as it's following it, not actually bite the body of the fly, really just kind of grab the tail, and you'll feel the pull, but you won't be able to set the hook because they don't actually bite the hook portion. And if this material is not in there good, it can get ripped right out. So this is a micro pine squirrel zinker in olive, and what I've done is you can see how it flows back towards the back of the fly. I'm going to rip a little bit off of the front here, and I'm going to take that little chunk of exposed skin, and I'm just going to slide that up under the bead. And when I tie this in, I'm going to really cinch down, really secure that with some really tight wraps. I mean, that's really on there. Good. Okay, that ain't going anywhere. Now, yes, we're on to the final step already. I told you in the beginning, this is not a particularly difficult fly to tie. This is a stretch of olive ostrich herl. And I'm just going to take that and same thing. I'm going to ram that up underneath the bead there, just to kind of give me a little bit more material to latch onto and work with. Get that tied in. Bring my thread back to the front. Now when you wrap this, I'm going to fold it over because there's two sides to this. You can kind of see how the fibers are splaying towards the back, and right here is a pretty firm quill where they're all attached to. I want that quill in front Because if the quill is in front, when you wrap this, you'll get that nice even distribution of fibers that you're kind of looking for. And I'm just going to continue to wrap that towards the bead until I get the front filled in as much as I can. And that looks like about to be the max. I'll get that secured with a couple of wraps. And then that is pretty much it. I'm going to slip a whip finish in here. You can do multiple whip finishes in here if you want and build up a little bit of a hot spot. I usually do a little bit of a visible hot spot, but that's really just personal preference. So there's 3 whip finishes. A little bit of that sticking out. Now the final step, you want this extending back at least the skin part, at least about the length of the hook. So really what you need to do is kind of go and measure that and make sure that it's where you want it. But if you're going to tie a couple of these, a little trick you can do is once you get one of these flies where you want it, take one that you've already tied and put it right up against the other fly. Whoops. And just kind of hold it there and stroke both zonkers back. And as soon as the zonker right there, see how I'm no longer holding the zonker or the fly that I'm holding? Pull that off, and there's your length. Just want to make sure that I cut the skin and not the hair. So I'm going to slip my scissors in there, and we are good. So that is it. Like I said in the beginning, a very, very easy fly to tie. This is a fly that gives you a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, something that's as effective as it is and that easy to tie, it's definitely a home run. So really simple. I mean, that's beginning to end with explanation, and this video is at about 7 minutes, so you can tie these up pretty easily and get quite a few of them done. This one is in olive. I do them in black, brown, variety of different colors. All you need is the zonker and the ostrich herl, and that's pretty much it. So pretty simple. Any questions or anything, leave them in the comments, and I'll respond to whatever I can.